Data. Welcome, everybody. Wish everybody a happy new year. All right, we're going to get going. Thank you all for joining today. My name is Gary Allen. Again, I'm from the CEO of New Frontier Data. Today, we're going to explore our new product, Equio.ai. We're going to explore the first of the 3 new products that are coming out in the Equio.ai platform, which is called marketEQ. We continue to try to revolutionize how data is understood, gathered and understood, and disseminated throughout the industry, and continuing our focus on retailers and continuing our focus on helping our retailers do business and understand how to gather new customers, what their traffic is, what the revenue of their state and their local, their region and their state are. As well as, and you will see in other products as we launch over the next couple of weeks, ShopEQ and AdEQ, the ability to understand competitive intelligence as to the specific dispensary, the specific retail location that our customers are interested in, as well as how to gather new customers and bring customers to the door. We'll look at today. We're going to go through this deck, and I'm going to show you a live demonstration of the new Equio.ai. And actually, everybody's muted, so that's not going to work. But let's go ahead and get started. So if we look at the road to Equio.ai, New Frontier Data has been in business for a little over 10 years now, actually coming into our 11th year. We look at the industry, right? Colorado legalized adult use cannabis in 2012, launched it in 2014. New Frontier Data was founded in 2014. And really the mission of New Frontier Data at the time, and still is, was to gather and make professional the data that is available in the industry, and ensure that we disseminate that data in an actionable manner to all of the constituents that we service. In the beginning of New Frontier Data, when Equio first launched in 2017, all the way through 2019 of our version 2, our primary customer of the Equio SaaS platform were investors, market researchers, and some retailers and operators. In late 2018, early 2019, we decided to take a very hard look and really focus our resources on the retailers and really understand. And we started with the consumers, and really understanding who those consumers are, where they go, why they go there, what products they consume, how often they consume, and all of that information you're about to see in the Equio platform. We launched version 3 in 2021, which did bring in our retail suite. That retail suite has since been discontinued. Gathering reliable POS data from the industry is both expensive and difficult to do with so many different POS systems and so many different data providers. And so we really are focused on the retail consumer and getting that consumer into the retail store and helping the retailer operate that store in a way that drives more consumer activity as well as revenue. And then today here we're launching Equio.ai, right? The industry has come a long way, right? From the first 6 or 7 states to 24 states here in 2025. The current market is more competitive and nuanced and interconnected. There are many more multi-state operators now than there were before. There is data that is both available throughout many, many states, but also data that is very different in each state, how it's collected, how it's all normalized, and then, of course, how it's disseminated. Right? We wanted to make a product that has centralized insights for benchmarking, strategizing, really the ability to execute the plan of each retailer with precision. As you'll see in Equio now, we're very dispensary specific. The previous versions of Equio pretty much presented all of the data at all of the time for the industry, really trying to educate the industry on all of the little different facets. The retail market is we believe, and I have many of you have been following us for a long time, have heard me speak and us speak about this. We believe that the great equalizer for this industry is, of course, the consumer and the retail profitability and retail success. We've seen a lot of challenges over especially the last 4 years. And the only way we see through those challenges is to really make sure that at the street level, at the retail level, we're helping dispensaries identify, attract, and maintain and keep those consumers coming to their dispensary. And very importantly, to making sure that end-to-end visibility, not only on ad performance, but what we're calling from click to counter, click to in-store conversion, right? Being able to understand that you've reached out to customer A has seen your message, and then customer A has come into your store and interacted and conducted commerce with you. The core values of the Equio platform are really clarity, right? Making the cannabis industry path clear. Right? Throughout the interactive maps, you'll see states that are legal, states that have both medical and recreational or adult use, as well as the states that still do not have a market. You'll see consumer path in those states and consumer consumption in those states. You'll see where opportunity lies, and we really want to make it clear and easy for you to come into the system, understand where you operate within the industry, and how you can affect change in your operation. That's a great segue to actionability. Everything that we do, we have an unwritten rule in our development, which is 3 clicks in, 3 clicks out. The ability to get to the information very quickly, come away from the information very quickly, and take an action as a result of that information. The affordability, everybody, all the service providers in this industry are attempting to conduct business that helps the industry, but all of us cost money. It was a very expensive endeavor to build Equio and to keep the company running over the last 10 years. And one of the things that the board and I talked about just 2 or 3 years ago was that, after all of the money that has been invested, we've gotten to a certain scale. And the privilege of that scale, or the benefit to the industry of that scale, is to help commoditize and make more affordable the information, and make sure that every dollar you spend on a service like ours is a dollar that is valuable to you. The Equio.ai platform is made up of 3 key products. All of the resources and data that has always been available through Equio are still available. And you'll see during the demo in the resource library, we still have all of the reports, and we will still continue to create market leading and thought leadership reports and content, and we'll make those things available in the Equio platform. But as I've said, we're concentrating very much on the shop, on the retailer themselves. And so we have taken our dispensary insight report and created a product called ShopEQ. ShopEQ is, and we'll be launching that over the next couple of weeks, and we'll do another webinar on that. But ShopEQ will allow subscribers with that level of subscription to actually go into Equio and click into their shop and see how their shop compares to the other shops in their region. On foot traffic, visitor count, average visits, consumer demographics, and of course the revenue of the state. And then to create the 360-degree process of understanding the industry, understanding what's going on in my local retailer, and then how to get consumers into my local retail shop, we're introducing AdEQ. And AdEQ is what we're calling click to counter. It allows a CMO, a marketing person, a social media person, anybody who's involved in marketing for the local dispensary to very quickly and very seamlessly grab an audience, upload creative, and activate an ad campaign. And it's all backed and it's all, surrounded by the Equio.ai platform, but also our proprietary attribution product, which is included in these products, which allows us to measure the ad efficacy, making sure that every consumer that sees an ad that goes into the store or goes to the website and transacts in an e-commerce shopping cart or a delivery system or a delivery platform, every single one of those consumers is tracked and all of that revenue is captured. So as I said, I'm going to give you a demo of the marketEQ platform. This is the first of the 3 products, and over the next 3 to 6 weeks, we will be launching all 3 of the products together. But we wanted to give an understanding of why we're doing this. As we have moved through this industry and with this industry over the last 10 years, the question of, as I stated before, the question of what is the market is what the original Equio answered. All of the states, all of the information for researchers, all of the information for investors, a good understanding of the regulations. As that market has matured, right, we've had to, and we've listened and we have created more advanced visualizations, so interactive dashboards, really making sure that all of the data is still available, but the data most important to our target audience is always available at the forefront. State and regional insights, as I just said, and I will explain the different subscription levels. But everybody who has access to it, it's a free platform. At the Explorer level, you will be able to see the national and state information. To get more local, obviously, you'll have to have a different subscription. And one of the biggest differences between this system and our previous platforms is after 10 years, our ability to gather and update information more uniformly and more timely. Revenue information from the states comes in usually a quarter behind. The foot traffic information is only a couple of days. It's as close to real time as you can get in location tracking. The license and retailer information is updated, fresh every quarter. So really, ensuring a uniform expectation of understanding that this is the best data you can get, and it's the most up-to-date data you can get in the industry. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second, and I'm going to switch over to the platform. So this is the Equio.ai platform, the new platform. As many of you have seen, and I've seen some of the attendees today, many of you have been in the original platform or the last version of it. This is much more, again, focused on the market based with the cornerstone of that market being the retailer. One of the big differences, as you can see, there are 12,837 retailers currently licensed in the United States. That number grew, as we shut down the old Equio in November, the late November, early December. We had just over 8,000. We have a better data source, more complete data, and so we wanted to bring that to the marketplace. Right off the bat, a couple of things. You'll see on the left side, our navigation is much more clean and much easier to understand. It is segmented by the 3 products: marketEQ, shopEQ, and adEQ. It looks like my team just before this demo took out chatEQ. ChatEQ will be coming at the end of the second quarter, which is the interactive AI component of Equio.ai. So as we're looking at the dashboard and we go to the right side, you see, well, first you look at the map. The map is actually quite fun. You can zoom out, see the entire world. There was a couple of interesting things as we were doing some QA. One, we now are collecting some data in Mexico, South America, Spain, Italy. But one of the things I really was, had a lot of fun with was you zoom in. This is Puerto Rico. Well, you may know, I don't know if we have anybody on the webinar today from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a pretty dense market. And it's really interesting to see, you hear about the number of dispensaries in a certain state, but when you can actually visualize it, it's crazy. Like, for example, Oklahoma, 1,808 licensed dispensaries in Oklahoma. So even just to go get in and familiarize yourself with the market, we all start to really think about the local information, right? But if as you can see, the market has grown so much over the last 10 years. Let me get this back. There we go. So we're able to see the number of dispensaries, and at the first view, we're able to see the number of dispensary visitors. These are the visitors that our NextTech platform, which is the tracking platform behind all of this, have tracked into dispensaries in the last 30 days. That's 18 million, a little over 18 million dispensaries. To give you a little bit of background on how we do that, we track about 490 million mobile devices, from phones to tablets to laptops. We track them across 12,837 cannabis retail locations, but we also track them across about 1.2 million other retail locations outside of the cannabis market, which gives us some good information about the types of consumers that they are. We're able to tell you how long they spend in the store. The average time is about 15 minutes. The average dispensary nationwide, it's a national average, weighted is about 3,829 in the month of December. Yeah. Visit frequency. These are some numbers that were really interesting once we started to analyze them. Visit frequency has gone up to 3.8 times for every 30 days. That's interesting. And number of dispensaries per visitor. So how many dispensaries did Gary go to? The average is 1.2. If we look now on the national side, we can come over to the consumers. Again, the map is interactive. You're able to mouse over, hover over and see the consumer density as far as the consumption density, per 1,000 people. So, Oregon has a 24% consumption rate, right? Or 24% consumption rate. We can go down and see that nationally in the last 30 days, we've tracked a total of 56,000 consumers. Medical patient rate nationwide is about 1.7%. You'll see in a second, Colorado is a little over 5%. Some states are much higher, obviously, and states that have just medical consumption or medical markets, sorry. Cannabis usage rate, 23.2% nationwide. I know Dr. Amanda Ryman, our Chief Knowledge Officer, is listening in the stands. And she's been in the industry for a long time, and she'll tell you that number has probably doubled in the last 10 years at least. We have all the demographic information, the gender, income, age, consumption frequency for the consumers. This is allowing retailers to understand that 3.8 national average is probably pretty straight on, because 27% of all consumers say that they use multiple times a day. Product forms, consumed. Obviously, flower is still king. Nationally, it's at 56%. You'll see in some states it's at 50% or below. Edibles, vaporizers, tinctures, beverages are all starting to creep up. And then our consumer archetypes, and those consumer archetypes become more clear as you get through the consumer behaviors for ShopEQ and AdEQ. And then, of course, we have the market numbers. Adult use and medical, you're able to look at just one or just the other. You'll notice these spikes, and these spikes are there because some states only report quarterly. And so every few months, you'll see some states report late, but they report on a 3-month process. So there's huge spikes. It is part of the data gathering. Now we can go and look through a specific state. So we'll look at Colorado. With 814 active dispensaries, 404,000 dispensary visitors, an average visits per dispensary about 1,200. Their dwell times in Colorado, it's a very mature market. Their dwell times are 18.5 minutes. It's a long time in a store. Their visit frequency is a little over 2. And here's another number that as we were going through the rebuild and looking at the analysis, this is another number that quite frankly surprised me. Consumers seem to be, once they find a dispensary, they seem to stick with it, which tells us that through ShopEQ and AdEQ, really the mission to get consumers into the industry, into the legal market and into a dispensary is very valuable, because once they get there and they see that the individual dispensary and they pick one for that, the experience and the products and service that they get at that dispensary, they stay there. As we go over to the consumer tab for Colorado, we'll see that there are a total of 1.2 million consumers over the last 30 days. The medical patient rate is about 5%. The usage rate's a little higher at 28%. Again, it's a mature market. And then, of course, we have all of the demographic information for each state and the revenue numbers for each state. Now, this is very focused on the retailer. However, as I said, all of the information that we had before has to happen in a demo. All of the information that we had before is still available. All of our reports, there's 200 some reports over the last 10 years, 2.5 to 3,000 preformed charts. All of our webinar and our content library is all available. Download it. You can play it right here. I'm not going to do it because the sound will come through. Reports you can read here in the system, or you can download that report depending on your subscription level. And let's see, the charts are here. Everything is searchable by keyword, selectable by report. These are pre-formatted for those that have the Pro, that have the Pro subscription. We do give you the right to repurpose these charts. They're all watermarked and things, but we do give you copyright permission to repurpose these charts in your business presentations. But at the base level, this system is $49 a month. For $2 a day, you're able to come in and see what's going on in the retail market and see what's going on in the market itself, access our reports. This is also a new section of Equio. For those of you that have had Equio subscriptions before, there really wasn't a user profile, and we've built this in such a manner so that, as this is obviously the test. One second, Michael, sorry. This is obviously the test account, but inside of this account, we'll have your profile, we'll have the stores that you're associated with, so that it activates ShopEQ and AdEQ without you having to continually put in new information. I'm going to pause for a second, and somebody had a question. I saw a raised hand, but it's gone down now. Okay. So this is Equio.ai. As I said before, we will be launching ShopEQ and AdEQ over the next couple of weeks, and we'll do webinars about those. Go back to my deck. And there's something in the chat. There we go. Can we see the slide with the YouTube posts? Okay, that's actually part of the panel or part of the platform. Let me reshare my screen. It's in the resource library. And these are webinars that we have done over the years. A selection of those webinars that we've done over the years. And here, I'll just hit that. And you can see you can play them live and within the system. Hopefully, Michael, that answered your question. So coming up next is the ShopEQ and the AdEQ platforms. ShopEQ, as I said, is very much focused on the individual retail shop. So as Gary Allen, if I have a profile and I have 3 dispensaries, I would fill that information out in my profile. You'll be able to, with ShopEQ, you'll be able to see what we call the dispensary insight report, which gives you an understanding of all the foot traffic that has come to your dispensary, who those consumers are, how many people in our database of 68 million cannabis consumers, how many people live within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles of that dispensary, and how many people you can actually market to, also the manner in which you can market to them, which will then inform the AdEQ platform. And the AdEQ platform is really focused on one thing and one thing only, which is customer acquisition. Full funnel analytics, audience targeting, the metrics and the creative A/B testing are all part of that. It will also be both in ShopEQ and AdEQ. The dispensary insight report, the AI will give you those insights, and you can come back as your business has changed or you've changed something. You can come back and look at that change and see what the AI is telling you to do next, or what benefit it has brought you. And AdEQ, it will recommend the A/B testing. It will recommend the audiences. It will recommend the frequency. It will recommend budgets. It will recommend seasonality. So we really do have the retailer in mind here. We're not forgetting about the investors or the researchers or all of those other companies and individuals and operators that may have interest in our data. But again, we really truly believe that the way to help lift this industry through whatever coming challenges are over the next year or two is going to be through consumers in the store buying product. And just so you know, this is just the beginning. We're planning a 12-week reboot as we're next week will be Amanda Ryman. We'll be talking about what the data is and why it's important to everybody. The following week the following webinar, we will be launching the other 2 products and really focusing on showing the actionability of the AdEQ product. Really, again, for 2025, New Frontier Data and Equio.ai are really here to meet the goals and the objectives of the retailer, and that is to get consumers in the door and drive revenue, real measurable revenue. That's my presentation. I've left about 15 minutes for questions if anybody has them. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. This is why they don't let CEOs run webinars. All right, looks like we have another question. What about the ability to pull data out to be used in a digital twin? I'm not quite understanding what a digital twin is. in another platform. We will be reintroducing our data marketplace as we've had for the last few years, that will allow people to download data directly from our platform and do their own analysis. I believe that's what you're asking. Any other questions or comments that anybody has? Sorry. How actionable? Okay, so there's a couple of questions here. So you mentioned ChatEQ and how will that work? ChatEQ will be much like ChatGPT or other AI platforms. It will allow you to either speak or type a question to it about the cannabis industry, and it will produce answers for you and directions to the answers. How actionable will this data be? Give you an example of the actionability of the data for Gary Allen's dispensary. I see that, let's say the data tells me that I have, my biggest consumer audience right now is young men between 25 and 35 who come 2.5 times to 3 times a month. But I live in a community that is an older community, 35 to 55, which is kind of the target audience of nationwide of cannabis. It'll immediately point it out in your dispensary report and ShopEQ. It'll immediately point out what exact actions to take to get new audiences or increase the current audiences that are coming to the store. So it's been incredibly actionable. How accurate would I say the data is? I guess that's a question, the data. Accurate as measured by the revenue numbers are pulled directly from the state. Well, they're pulled through our partner directly from the states and verified by us. The consumer information is done by and led by our research team through, we currently have consumer survey and market. We usually do at least 1 to 2 a year. On good years, we'll do 3. So we get it directly. So that information we get directly from the consumers. The targeting information and the local tracking information of the mobile phones is done by the largest provider in the United States. So that is very accurate. And then once we have our proprietary attribution technology installed in each one of our clients, our accuracy is 93% tracking on add to counter. Hopefully I've answered those questions. Any other questions from anybody? These are great questions, by the way. Okay. Well, that is our first of 12 webinars coming over the next few weeks. And I thank everybody for joining us today. I hope to see you at the next one. Thank you so much, Michael M. It was a pleasure meeting you as well. My name is Gary Allen. Again, my contact information is there. Please feel free to reach out, and welcome to 2025. Happy New Year, everyone.